What's going on, Washington fans? What a day. What a day. I, I'm not happy about it. I don't know how to feel about it. There's a lot of feelings about it. So we're going to talk about it. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of us didn't know what was going to happen. A lot of us didn't know what to expect. So I'm gonna talk through it. If you've been following me this whole last 2 weeks talking about the trade deadline over on Bleacher Report, I kind of prepared y'all, been giving y'all updates on Twitter or X, wherever you call it, at Josh Taylor FB. Just updating y'all. So let's break it into pieces and let's talk about it. What's going on, Richard? Basically, 4th round pick is stupid. Talking about Chase Young. So I'm gonna talk about it. So drop your comments and let's go through this. And I'm gonna go through the whole process, what happened, why it happened, and then also take a look at what this means, long term wise, future wise. So obviously, the day starts out with Montez Sweat getting traded. And if you've been following me on the Bleacher Report streams and stuff I've been doing, you can go rewatch those. I have those on my channel. I told y'all what's going to happen. I said, I highly expected Montez Sweat to be traded. And it came down to a couple teams. At first it was the Falcons. And then I told y'all yesterday on Twitter that I got a DM saying that the 49ers offered 2 third-round picks for Montez Sweat. I don't know which 2 it was. They had 3 third-round picks. They had 2 comp picks in the third, and then they have their regular third. Didn't know which one it was, but that wasn't enough. And I told y'all Washington is not going to take that. They are waiting for a second. They want a second-round pick. And I said they're not going to trade Montez until they get that second. I personally didn't think they were going to do it. I thought if they were going to do it, it was going to be the Falcons. Just because the Falcons are still in the running. Like, they're still in the running for the playoffs, as bad as they are. But then earlier today, I said the Bears have entered the Montez Sweat sweepstakes. And you know how Poles is. You know how the Bears are. They're going to be aggressive. You saw what they did. They essentially traded the 32 overall pick for Chase Claypool, which is one of the worst trades I can ever remember. And I said, don't be surprised. Once they entered the sweepstakes, I had no problem saying that the Bears would offer a second for Montez Sweat. And they did. And Washington took it, which I think was a great idea. This was before the Chase stuff even happened, so I'm not gonna talk about Chase first. I'm gonna get the Montez out the way. What's going on, Justin? A lot going on today, man. Appreciate y'all, Richard. Appreciate everything y'all do as well. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Brian Rivera, after the horrible 2023 draft, we need hella draft capital for 2024, and I'm gonna talk about that. Casey Stewhill, James Smith Williams, I feel bad. KJ Henry, Andre Jones Jr. better be ready. And I'm gonna talk about the guys we have on our line too, because there's 2 of them that there's 3 of them that I really like, and then 2 I just don't know enough about. So let's just do this. Let's talk about why this happened. And if you watch the Bleacher Report stream, I told y'all, and I said it, I put the video clip on Twitter, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I might be out here in Texas, but I am plugged into this team right now. Ron Rivera is not making the decisions. Ron Rivera is not making the moves. And I'm pretty sure Mayhew and Hurney aren't making the decisions either. And then it came out after the trades and everything happened. Diana Rossini said mainly everything that happened today was all because of ownership. And I told y'all, Josh Harris is going to be plugged in. My guy chose violence last 24 hours with all the James Harden stuff that happened, and then Montez Sweat, and then Chase Young. Like, he is going to be plugged into this team. He might have sat back for the first few, months, weeks, whatever, and said, Ron, y'all do what you're going to do. We're going to see how this unfolds. I'm going to see how y'all run things. And it's been an absolute shit show. It's been an absolute circus the last few weeks, months. And then Ron Rivera just keeps doing what he does. So the GM hat is off of Ron Rivera. Thank God. Like, that needed to happen. So I told y'all, Josh Harris is in charge now. Ron Rivera is not making business decisions. I don't think Hurney's making business decisions. Mayhew might be making them. I don't know. I don't know exactly who, but I'm telling y'all, this ownership group is going to be plugged in. This is Josh Harris's team now. And that's why I was so confident that something was going to happen. One, because I've heard of the teams that were interested, what could be possibly offered up. But then also, we have real adults in charge now. Like, Ron Rivera, the statue is not the guy saying, like, oh, we're going to hold back, we're going to wait, and then we're going to lose both these guys in free agency. This is a new team. So as much as I hate seeing Sweat go, I love Sweat. I have Chase Young jerseys. I have Chase Young shirts that I love. As much as I hate seeing those guys go, it is refreshing to know that this team that I've watched suck for the 30 years of my life, I just turned 30 in July, this team that has sucked my whole lifetime and that really did nothing different, too drastic, we are finally making some changes. We are finally saying, guys, this isn't it. What we're doing right now is not working. This team is not working. So we have a new ownership group come in. Of course, there's a whole new regime coming in. I'm going to talk about how tempting Washington, and this is so weird to say, Washington is going to be a premier place for a GM, for a VP, for any kind of head of operations, any kind of regime coming in this offseason. This is going to be a premier place to be. And that's great. That's great to say. And I'm going to tell you all why. So like I said, Josh Harris is in charge. It starts with the Montez Sweat. The 49ers offer 2/3 for Montez Sweat. I stand on that. I 100% stand on that. I'm not backtracking that at all. They offered 2/3. Washington said no. Atlanta showed an interest. I think they had like a third. One of their offers was a third and something else. I don't know what the other one was. It might have been a second and a third. I highly doubt that, though. It was probably like a third and the fourth. They probably lowballed. All I know is they offered at least a third for Montez Sweat. If they would have offered up a 2, we would have took it. But I told y'all, Washington was going to wait for that second to come in. And, of course, the Bears do it. Guys, I'm ecstatic about this pick because the Bears stink. And I know like they don't have to play us anymore this season, so they're not going to win many more games. Justin Fields should be back within the next few weeks. Who knows? But even so, they're not a good team. So this is a top 40 pick, almost guaranteed top 40 pick. And I said the best Washington can get for Sweat is going to be a second. I didn't even know it was going to be a high second. I thought it was going to be a late second round pick, maybe from the 49ers. Like, I just don't think they didn't want to do that. And from the guy that I talked to with the 49ers, he said they just weren't comfortable because they don't the money wise for it. And this makes total sense once the Chase Young trade went down. He told me the 49ers weren't comfortable giving that up because they don't know what that new contract's going to look like. They are not 100% sure that they can get a deal done. So he told me that last night. It was like 11:45 last night. He said, I think that the 49ers are backing off. It doesn't look good on the 49ers end. He told me keep an eye on the Falcons, Bears, and Ravens. So I said, cool. And then it came out that Washington wasn't letting teams negotiate prices with Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And I'm like, boom, makes sense. He just told me that they didn't feel comfortable with the money that with Montez Sweat. And probably because Washington wasn't letting people negotiate prices and stuff like that. So it made total sense to me. But I did not think that the 49ers would come in and be interested in Chase Young after all that happened. But the 49ers saw the Seahawks go get Leonard Williams, which honestly was a bad trade deal. If you think about it, they saw the 49ers, who lead the division, go out and get a guy, get even better. And they say, guys, we need to be better. I know they just got Randy Gregory. I had people saying, like, Josh, 49ers aren't going to be interesting. They are very interested. Their pass rush is like 17th in the league right now. Like, it's not good. I know they have Bosa. I know they have Eric Armstead. I know they have a lot of good guys in that line. And I don't know if it's Steve Wilkes right now or what, but they're just struggling. And they don't look like that 49ers team, especially in the pass rushing that we've seen the last few years. So they wanted it to be aggressive. So Montez Sweat goes to the Bears. We get a high second-round pick. And I'm going to take a look at some things. I might go through like a mock draft. I don't know. I'm going to at least look at the picks and just show y'all what this looks like, what could be next season in a couple things. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm hyped about it. Let's see what y'all got to say. Great day to be a Washington fan. I have people DMing me right now, literally saying, like, Josh, talk me off the ledge. Why is this good? Why is this bad? I'm depressed right now. And I get it. Like I said, guys, I am guilty of it too. I get so emotionally invested in some of these players. I have a Jahan Dotson helmet over there. I love Jahan. I love Terry. I love Sam. Y'all know I'm like Sam is like my man crush. Like I love Sam as a person. I love him as a player. I get attached to these players too. This is the hard part of it because yes, I talk about this team. I cover this team. I do videos of this team, but I am a genuine fan that was born into this. Like I'm as invested in this as y'all are. And like, I love that. Like I would hate to cover a team that like I don't have passion about, honestly. I think it would suck. But I'm guilty of it as well. It sucks. But at the same time, I'm just so relieved and so refreshed that this team is finally getting the revamp. It's not going to be a complete rebuild. There's a couple things to consider. I'm going to talk about Sam Howell too. Something they really got to think about. But this team is finally going to be built by a competent front office and a legit owner who knows what he's doing. It's no more, oh, this didn't happen because of Bruce Allen or because of Dan Snyder or like the Trent Williams debacle. That's done. That is not happening here no more. This is a real business now. So it's exciting. Like, I know your players got traded away. It sucks. Let's see. Abel says, not mad at trades at all. FA about to be crazy and interesting. Same goes to the draft. And I'll say something on the free agency too, since we're on the topic. This regime is going to be very, very active in free agency. They're going to be very aggressive in free agency. They're going to be smart, but aggressive. They're not going to overpay. They're not going to do like some Albert Hainsworth kind of deal, something like that. They're going to be calculated. They're going to be smart, and they're going to be aggressive, which is great. Which leads me to another point of this whole, everyone's like, Josh, man, hold on, I gotta tame the mullet, y'all. It's going crazy today. Everyone's like, Josh, why don't you just, keep Montez Sweat or Chase Young or tag one of them, and if they leave, then we get a comp pick. I'm telling y'all, that comp pick would not exist because we are going to be active in free agency. And I know a lot of people know what comp picks are. Some people don't, though. So a comp pick is like what we got when we lost Brandon Sheriff, March 2022. We got a comp pick for the 2023 draft, which is what, a third? I think it was at the end of the third round pick for this last year. So you get that the next year. But that is based off of what you do in free agency. We didn't do enough in free agency to offset that, so we got to keep the pick. So say we lose Chase Young, we lose Montez Sweat. What we do in free agency dictates that comp pick. So once again, we're going to be active in free agency. We're going to be aggressive. There's a very high chance that comp pick would get washed away because this new regime, new front office, new GM, new head coach, whoever is going to want to go out and sign some big guys, whether it's a player that he coaches currently now that we don't know about, or it's just anybody. I got to look at, I have the free agency list on my computer right now. I was just going through it before I went live, but they're going to be active. So that comp pick would go away more than likely. And you don't get that pick until the next year. You would not get it until 2025. I thought we were going to trade Jacoby. I thought we were too. The Cleveland Browns were very interested in him. They wanted Josh Dobbs too. He ends up going to the Vikings. I thought Brissett was a set guy that could go to the Vikings or the Jets. That was my two spots for him. And then Mary Kate Abbott, who covers the Browns, said that the Browns had a lot of conversations about Brissett. I think they offered like a fifth, but we wanted like a fourth or a third for Brissett, which is crazy, by the way. Just way too high. Brian said Josh Harris chose violence since last night of James Harden. Yeah, I woke up to the James Harden thing, and like I was like, all right, we're starting to a good day. I'm a Grizzlies fan. Like, I don't really care about what goes on with the NBA until Ja comes back. But I was like, yeah, that's the thing. Josh Harris knows what he's doing. Jacoby has been good for Hal. Yes, but at the same time, I think Eric Bieniemy is way more critical in the development of Hal. I think that shows. I think we saw that up close in person for those that were at training camp. But I think you see that in the game as well. We need to sign Burns this offseason. Something to think about. Like, guys, that's what I'm saying. Just because we lose someone right now, we're 0-3 in the division, 3-5 overall. We're not making the playoffs. Like, I hope y'all know that. Like, that, ever since we lost to the Eagles, that's been pretty much like signed, still delivered, unless like the whole NFC just completely falls apart, which it could. But at the same time, it's not going to happen. But like I said, they're going to be very active in free agency. They're going to want to get a guy like Brian Burns. Like I said, we have a lot of free agents, by the way. I might go ahead and I'll pull that up here in a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to talk about free agency. I'm going to talk about the draft. I'm going to talk about Chase coming up here in a second next. But I just want to go through and see what y'all saying. What did we get for Chase? It was a third round pick. I heard it was one of their comp picks. I don't know which one. But the 49ers have two comp picks at the end of the third. I haven't been on Twitter or anything since I went live. So if y'all see anything, let me know which pick it is. But from what I heard, it was a comp pick. And Aaron says it is a comp pick. So yeah, late third rounder for Chase Young. Also, this season isn't totally lost yet. Also, with Chase and Sweat, we dead last on defense. We were already dead last in defense. Bradley, what's going on, man? I mean, we wanted change and finally got it. I'm definitely not paying Chase in any Nick Bosa or Micah Parsons type contract. So I'll talk about Chase Young next. Is Louis Riddick an actual GM option? I think he's a great football mind. I love Louis Riddick. I'm a big Louis Riddick fan. I've wanted him to come here for a while, but a lot of GMs didn't come here because of Dan Snyder. So when I do the scouting academy, I haven't finished it yet. thinking about finishing it like January. But when you do the scouting academy, Louis Riddick's actually one of the guys that's on there that does a lot of the videos, does a lot of the teaching and stuff like that. And I just love listening to him talk. I learned a lot from Louis. Just, working with him through the scouting academy and what, everything that he talks about, how he evaluates players and stuff like that. I think from a GM standpoint, I think he'd be great. I think he's a great talent evaluator, but I think he's also a smart business guy to where if he can team up, with a competent head coach, a great VP, and then an owner like Josh Harris, I think Louis Riddick would be a really good GM option. Definitely not ruling him out. I've wanted him the last few years now, but we knew we weren't going to get anybody with Dan Snyder still here. So we need to start the 2 rookies at DN. I'm going to talk about that as well. We are officially done with the Firestone now. Yep. It's over. We're done for now until the end of the season. Curious on KJ Henry and Andre Jones. I can honestly say I don't know enough about KJ Henry. Except I liked him at Clemson, just haven't seen how he translates to the NFL. I'm a big Andre Jones fan. I love what I saw him out of camp. He's a cool dude. I've talked to him a couple of times. We follow each other on social media, check in with him and stuff. He balled out in the preseason. I told him, I'm like, bro, I love your game, bro. I hope you get some reps, and he hasn't yet. He's inactive every Sunday. So I'm really big on Andre Jones. I would love to see what he does. If I had to guess, though, comment says great trade. So who starts at both DN spots on Sunday? Aaron said, I guess Hill and JSW. That's what I'm guessing. Hill looked great, by the way, when he came in, had 2 sacks that one game. I forgot what game it was. It's 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. Gosh, they all blend together when we lose. Yeah, he had 2 sacks, and James Smith-Williams has a great get off, great speed. He ran a crazy 4.4 something at the combine before we drafted him. He went to NC State. A lot of potential, just haven't seen a lot of them because we just load up on these DNs. We don't rotate guys a lot. I really like F.A. Obata too. I think Obata's another guy that gets a lot of production when he's on the field. He's been banged up. He was on the IR. He is back. I don't know if he's at 100% though. I'll have to check on that. Can't wait to see Hill play more, said Jeff. Agree. I mean, Hill looked great when he came in. And that's another thing. I want us to rotate some of these guys in. I know we have the rookies. We're tempted to play those guys, but you have James Williams, you have Hill. Some of these guys have been here for a while. But rotate some fresh legs in. I was sick of seeing Chase Young on the field for 98% of snaps of the game. Yeah, I know he's playing well, but honestly, that's not good for him. I'd rather him, rest a couple and then come in and a few more, reps that are maybe more effective. Maybe that's why he's not getting to the quarterback every single time. So there's a couple Ron Rivera questions. I'll go ahead and knock those out. Josh Harris has fired coaches during the season before, right? I don't know about the 76ers or the New Jersey Devils if he has. When do you think Ron gets fired? I could, in all honesty, this isn't me hearing anything. This is me being a vibe guy. This is me just reading the room and reading this team from just what I know plugged in wise. This isn't anything I've heard, nothing like that. By the way, I don't have any Washington sources or anything like that. I don't ever claim to be a guy I got a guy on the team. I know people with the team. They don't tell me nothing. I know people outside the team that I've met at the draft, the Senior Bowl, people that work for teams, people that are plugged into other teams. But if you know someone from Washington, let them know. I would love a source inside of Washington, but I don't know anybody. This is just stuff I get told from outside people that I've met along the way and built relationships with. But I honestly think that Ron Rivera, I think he's fired by week 11, 12, if it keeps going this way. And I think that they promote Eric Bieniemy to head coach and just let him do a kind of audition for it. And I hate to say this, but I don't think he does get the head coaching job. I think he's the offensive coordinator again next year, though. I don't think he's going anywhere, even with the new regime, new whatever. But I think they do go after a highly coveted head coach like a Ben Johnson, someone like that. Someone that's just, once again, like I said, this is going to be a really big spot for someone to come to, GM-wise, regime-wise, VP, head of operations, whatever, head coaching-wise. This is going to be the premier destination for a lot of people next season, which is great to say. It's great to say. We knew it wasn't going to happen because of the timing of the sale and everything. We knew Ron was going to stay here. He was like, here's the elephant in the room. We're like, yeah, guys, we're excited. We got to hang on to Ron for another season. Like, and I hate to say that because Ron's a great guy. But at the same time, it's just we know it's going to happen. And today solidified everything. There's going to be a new head coach. There's going to be a new GM. There's going to be a new regime. So I honestly think that by like week 12 or so, if this maybe even week like 10, which honestly, like I said, this season's flying by already, which is blowing my mind. But I genuinely think that they're going to do like what the Panthers did last season, like give there was a Steve Wilkes an opportunity to, be the interim head coach, audition for it. I don't think Eric Bieniemy gets it. I think we get a new defensive coordinator. I think we get a new head coach, and I think that Eric Bieniemy stays offensive coordinator, which is what I want to happen. I love EB. I honestly would be happy if he was the head coach, but I just think top to bottom, they want EB to just keep doing what he's doing for a little bit longer, keep growing in that little realm. Maybe develop Sam, maybe develop another rookie quarterback. Anything's on the table, guys. Let's see. Two Hills underrated. I completely agree. Season was over. After the Chicago game, I don't care who left, who stayed after that. Same. I as a fan checked out after that game. My buddy does not watch any football. My buddy Brady, shout out to Brady. He's in the other room playing some Spider-Man 2, which is probably the best game ever made. He does not watch football. I don't know how he does it, but I convinced him. I was like, yo, watch this game with me. It's a Thursday night game. We're going to whoop these guys. We got our cool uniforms on. Like, this is the one you need to watch. And we got butt dragged for fourth quarters, and he's like, dude, I thought you said y'all were going to win this. And I was like, bro, we suck. Like, I completely checked out after that game. Completely checked out. Losing Sweat and Young is going to make Del Rio's defense look worse. Dude, like, we are a bottom defensive team. It can't get any worse. What's going on? T.Y. Brown said, crazy part, I'm a Sixers and Washington fan, so Josh Harris literally got me bugging today. But, like, you should feel good, though. You should feel good. That dark cloud of James Harden sitting on the bench for the games and stuff, he's gone. He didn't want to be there. Like, get rid of him. I love James Harden, but I hate this whole, like, I'm going to dictate where I'm going to play kind of thing. Like, bro, you got a ton of money. You're good. Just stay on the 76. Like, it just made no sense to me. But same thing here. Like, you knew business-wise, at least one of these guys were going to go. And I've said it a couple times, like, big picture-wise, they were not going to pay these guys long-term. And it was all down to Josh Harris. This was a Josh Harris decision at the end of the day. Let's see. TC Stone said, I love that we actually did it. Damn right. Agree. I told my buddy today, I don't know who this team is because I'm not used to a real organization making changes like this. You want to see? Just think about this. And I'm not saying it's going to go exactly like this. This is what I hope for. Just think about the Lions when they were bad. When they had a winless season, they looked bad. They traded away Matt Stafford a couple years after that. Got Jared Goff, started over, got a new head coach. Love Dan Campbell, by the way. I'm a huge Dan Campbell fan. They draft well every single year. And now they're legit NFC contenders. I'm not saying it's going to happen that fast. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly like that. But I'm just saying, guys, Detroit got handed over to a competent team that knew what to do, that knew that they needed to restart, and they had the guts to do it. People were like, oh, my God, Stafford? You got rid of Stafford? No. Like, why Stafford? I know he's hurt a lot, but it's Matt Stafford. Calvin Johnson retired. It's just they went through it. They went through the realm. And we have too. We've been through that. We didn't have a Calvin Johnson, I wish. We got a Terry, though. We got Terry. We don't need Calvin. But what I'm saying is, guys, like that's what we're going to be going through right now. It's complete makeover, and I don't want to call it a rebuild. Once again, we're not trading Terry. We're not trading John Allen. That was never on the table for me. John Allen was never even discussed. We're not like trading away pieces. Cam Curl was never discussed. They want to pay him. There is a need to keep some of these players here. There's a want to keep Cam Curl here. They want to pay Cam Curl. I thought there was a slight chance they were going to pay him before the 4:00 deadline yesterday. Didn't happen. That's on their list for this offseason. That's one thing I have heard and seen. Something about the Jets. I ain't worried about the Jets. Cam Curl is in right now, is in their plans. Terry McLaurin, obviously in their plans. John Allen, Ron Payne have always been in their plans. They did a top to bottom look at this team, and they have evaluated it as the season has gone through. They saw Montez Sweat playing well. They saw Chase Young playing well. But they knew they were not going to pay them long term. So trade them now and get the highest you can for them. So let's talk about that as we transition into Chase Young. We trade Chase Young for a late third as a comp pick for the 49ers. You call it an early fourth, whatever. I'm calling it a late round third because that's what it is. I'm calling a black dog a black dog. Like it's a late third. I don't care. They wanted Sweat. They offered the 2/3, like I said. Didn't happen. They said, okay. 49ers were aggressive. They wanted to see what was going on with Jalen Johnson. They've been watching Jalen Johnson since that came out yesterday. They were in on it. Told y'all Bills 49ers, and Warner said Bills 49ers. I said that's the two teams to watch for Jalen Johnson. They said we're going to take a step back on Montez Sweat. We are not comfortable paying what y'all wanted for Montez Sweat because we don't know what to pay him because you won't let us talk to him about the money. So he said, we're going to take a step back on Montez. We're going to just look at this Jalen Johnson situation. Y'all take some more calls on Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat goes to the Bears. They said, cool, whatever. We're going to take that loss. Then we get calls from the Patriots on Chase Young. I think they offered a fourth. They were interested in Chase Young. They had some questions about Chase. They might have checked in on Montez Sweat before we trade him to the Bears. I don't know. But it came out after Montez that we were taking calls for Chase Young. I said, buckle up. Here we go. I didn't think it was going to happen once we traded Montez, but I said on Twitter, that's still a possibility. People around are still saying there is a chance it could happen. For the right price, if it makes sense, Washington's going to do it. And this is the thought process of why they did it. This is why, I'm not trying to talk all off a cliff. If you're going to be depressed about this, you're going to be depressed about it because I love him as well. I love Chase Young. Brian said trade John Allen or Payne, move up in the draft for Caleb Williams. So we're not trading John Allen, we're not trading Deron Payne, but I will talk about Caleb Williams for a slight second because it's worth talking about. Merle, what's going on? Merle said good value on trades. Somebody reasonable. Shout out to Merle Garrett, man. Thank you for being reasonable and not cussing me out for the team's decisions. I get weird stuff all the time. Columbia 1930 says, at least we got something for them. We've lost a lot of players in situations like this and didn't get squad. Exactly. So let's talk about this. Well, my guy Rio here for newer beginnings. My boy Harris Cook and love what we did today. Y'all know I love Rio. Rio's my boy. I would do anything for Rio. Like both players, neither were blue chip or elite. It is what it is. Joshua Gibbs, Sweat trade was great value. I agree, Rio. Fans need to hop off these players and need to cut it off with the player attachment. Like I said, y'all, I've done it too. I'm guilty. If we trade Terry, y'all, I'm gonna fight somebody. Like if we have the day that it ever happens, I would fight somebody. This is what you gotta think about with Chase. So what this trade told me first off is it was never in Josh Harris's plans to pay Chase Young. Trading him today said we are not going to pay him long term. And honestly, are you mad at that? Look at start to finish. Don't look at this season. Look at start to finish with Chase Young. Would you have paid him? So Rashawn Gary got what? 4 years, 104, 105 mil, something like that. Are you willing to pay that for Chase Young? As a new regime, as a new owner, if you come in, Chase Young is staring at you. Are you paying him 4 years, $105 million? And he was a higher pick than Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary was what, 12 overall? Chase Young was the number 2 overall pick. He might want more than that. But then you have to think about the injury insurance. And they came out and said that. Ian Rappaport said that. John Keim said that. Like, guys, the trade value for Chase Young is going to be what it is because of, one, you don't know if you can pay him long term. And I'm going to talk about that. And two, you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. There is nobody in their right mind. And Rio said this on Twitter too. He said sailboat, Ryan cooked 2024 restarting. I know. The DE production ain't even fall off a cliff with the guys we have. Bro, like, just wait on it. Hill going to have 2 sacks on Sunday. But guys, who in their right mind would have traded a second-round pick for a guy that might not sign with them at the end of the season and might not even be healthy at the end of the season? Say Chase Young gets hurt week 12. You just traded a second-round pick for him? And you don't even have him signed? That's bad business. That is bad business. That is a fireable offense. And I get it. He's a second overall pick. You're going to team him up with Bosa. The Ohio State Buckeye boys are going to go after some quarterbacks. But if it doesn't work out, Shanahan and Lynch are already under fire for a lot of things they've already done. Trading up for Mooney. Like, they have made some questionable things, questionable decisions. The Trey Lance thing, trading up for Trey Lance. Can you imagine if they traded a second-round pick for Chase Young, and one, he doesn't sign a long-term deal, and he leaves at the end of the season in free agency, or he gets hurt? And it's not even just 49ers. I don't care if it's Bears, Falcons, Cowboys, whoever. Nobody would trade a second-round pick for Chase Young. Nobody. Unless they knew he was going to stay healthy and knew they could get a long-term deal done. So what that's telling me is, one, Washington was not willing to pay Chase Young long-term at all, which I'm fine with. Once again, new regime. You want to go get Brian Burns this offseason? I will gladly sign off on that as a fan. Do it. Go get Brian Burns. That's fine. Go get Spider-Man. I love Brian Burns, yo. So you can think about it. It's a late third-round pick. It's one of their comp picks that they get for D'Amico Ryan's probably leaving. It's probably that one. Let's just say D'Amico Ryan's leaving. We're getting that comp pick, a late round third. The 49ers still, once again, have to see how he plays the rest of the season, see if he stays healthy, and then worry about signing him to a long-term deal while they already gave Bosa all that money. What, $160 million? Like, Bosa's one of the highest paid players in the NFL history. They have Eric Armstead. Luckily, they have Purdy on a rookie deal. They have so many guys around him. Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Fred Warner, Greenlaw. They have to worry about their team is stacked. They have so much to worry about. That's not our problem. But from a business standpoint, I just want y'all to understand why this makes sense. And like I said, it's not even just 49ers. It's any team that was interested in Chase Young, they had to think about the injury insurance and then long-term stability money-wise and then staying healthy-wise. It just wasn't in the cards for Chase Young. Like, we didn't want to pay him long-term. We're going to let somebody else deal with that. But for us, we are going to get that third-round pick for this year coming up. We're not going to wait until for a comp pick in 2025. That's probably not going to happen. That's what I've had a lot of people come at me about. Josh, we should have kept him, let him go in free agency. If he does, we're getting that comp pick. We're getting a third anyways. We're not. And I told y'all that at the beginning of the stream, that we're going to be aggressive in free agency and go get a Brian Burns or someone like that. I got to check the free agency list to see who else is out there. But that comp pick is going to go away once we start spending money, and you get that pick now. So here's Josh Harris. He trades Montez Sweat away, got an early second for him. Traded Chase Young away, and got a late third, or for those complaining, an early fourth, whatever you want to call it. Let's check over the cap right now. Washington next season in cap space has right now almost $92 million. Almost $92 million. That's a lot of money. And let me show y'all something. Let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. Here's the free agency list for this season coming up for us. You've got Curtis Samuel, Kendall Fuller, Jacoby Brissett. I don't know what this clothing stuff is at the bottom. Jacoby Brissett, who we almost traded today. Cody Barton, Corn Lucas, Jeremy Reeves, F.A. Bada, David Bada, Khalil Hudson, Tyler Larson, David Mayo, Antonio Gibson, who had some interest as well. Joey Sly, Jamison Crowder, Sadiq Charles, Cam Curl, James Smith-Williams, Casey Hill, some other guys. So think about it like this. You have 90-something million in cap space. You re-sign the guys you want to sign. Like I said, from everything I've heard, seen, Cam Curl's absolutely in the plans. So they're gonna want to pay Cam Curl. So you can get that out the way. That Montez and Chase Young, $20 million a year, staring you in the face, was a big roadblock to paying Cam Curl. Understandably, that's gone now. Cam Curl has no reason not to pay him. You lose Curtis Samuel, you've got to get another wide receiver 2. Maybe you consider him your wide receiver 3. I think it's pretty much both. You either got to draft one or you got to pay one. You lose Kendall Fuller, you have no good corners on your team. You got Forbes, who's unplayable. St. Juice is either hit or miss. He's so inconsistent, or he's hurt. Then you have Cornelius Lucas, depth at left tackle, who looks like he's actually good. Jeremy Reeves, Efe Obata, once again, DN now. You've got to pay somebody on there. You've got like 2 or 3 linebackers that they might not be good, but you can't just lose them all and not be able to replace them with some money. So you got a lot going on here. Jamison Crowder, Sadiq Charles, once again. And like I said, Case to Two Hill. Some of these depth rotation guys, it's just it makes sense that you have this money now. But what's most intriguing about all this is that if you're Josh Harris, you have this money and you have these picks. Now this offseason comes along. You need a new GM. You need a new front office. You need a new regime. You say, guys, look what I've got. Okay. And I'm going to talk about this one nugget. It's very interesting. You have Sam Howell. He's on a rookie deal. Do you like what you see in Sam Howell? What's going on, Chase? Little Bill, appreciate you stopping by, man. Efe Obata is 31. Why do I think he was a lot younger? Yeah, he's actually older than I thought. I remember when he played on the Bills before. I didn't think he was that old. If Chase Young makes it back back to free agency, would Washington want to sign him back? I mean, maybe. Depends what it is. I've seen someone say that too, but would he want to come back? I don't know. What's going on, Arden? Being a West Coast Washington fan, just hate seeing him go to the Niners. It's a solid business move, as Chase Real is not performed well. It's just awesome in the uniform. I love it for him. Like, honestly, if he gets a ring out there, cool. We are not in any kind of position to say, like, hey, guys, we're going to be a playoff team. Oh, we got to worry about playing him out west. No, we're not in that position right now. I love that he's got Bosa back. I think that's a great duo. I was just thinking about it last night. How great would it be if Max Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson played together? 2 Michigan guys. Like, I would have loved to see him go to the Lions. But I love that for Chase. Like, he's got Bosa back. They're like this. Like, good for him. But like I was saying, guys, think about this. You want a good GM. You want a smart guy to come in here. And I told y'all this is going to be a really good place for someone to come into next season. I would take Washington over a lot of these teams that are going to be looking for a new GM or a new VP or head of operations, anything like that. And this is why. Because you have Josh Harris, you have Magic Johnson, you have this ownership group, you have a new stadium that's going to be built sometime soon, probably 2027, 28, something like that. I don't know. Not soon, but sooner rather than later. Then you have Terry McLaurin. You've got John Allen. You got Dron Payne. You got a lot of young pieces. Like I said, Cam Curl. Don't even talk about the draft last year. The drafts before that, you've gotten some good guys. You have a good foundation of players. That's why it was never like we need to go through a whole rebuild. We just need to revamp this roster. And they say, look, guys, we have all this money for you. And we went and got these picks for you too. You have 5 picks within like the top 100. You just got an extra second and an extra third. So you have a first, second, third next year coming up. That is yours. If you come here as a GM, you want a good first draft, we got you. We absolutely got you. And I kind of want to bring up, I don't know if PFF has updated any of their mock draft stuff, like pick-wise and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, you just have to, from Josh Harris's standpoint, right now, did they give us I know they have the Bears in here. I don't know if they've given us the 49ers pick yet on PFF, just because I don't think everyone knows what pick it is. I know we did, so it's pick 100. So we got pick 100. If the season ended today, we got pick 100 in the draft. So we've got if the season ends today, we got pick 11, pick 35, 43, 75, and 100. Like I said, regardless, there's going to be 5 picks in the top 100, because pick 100 is the very last pick of the third round because of all the comp picks coming through. So but then we've got like pick 111 right after that. So there's a lot. Is this next draft stacked, says Jacob? It depends what you really want. Talking draft, the edge rushers, if you want one, you've got to get one in the first, I don't want to say 60. What picks we got again? 11, 35. You got to get one with one of those two. It's very top heavy edge rusher draft. You have Chop Robinson, who I love, Penn State guy. I covered him, interviewed him, talked to him a lot. DMV kid. Love what Chop does. And you've got Jared Verse, really versatile guy, out of Florida State, big dude. Then you've got two guys at Alabama. You've got Dallas Turner and Chris Broswell. Both are top 90 picks. Outside of that, though, it kind of falls off. Jordan Birch. There's a couple of little sneaky guys that I'm not too. I'm still in draft mode where I am going through, watching guys on Saturdays, bouncing around, watching some all 22 and stuff like that. Really just creating the guys that I personally like my big board. But Chop Robinson's on there. Adisa Isaac is another guy. PSN Commanders Network. Love Penn State. You know who both those guys are. Adisa Isaac's a beast too. He's not a first round pick in my opinion. I think Chop Robinson's a lock top 20 pick though. Same with Jared Verse, lock. I'd say Dallas Turner should be an absolute first round pick, and I think Broswell's right outside of first round. So if you want an edge rusher, if you don't go sign a Brian Burns or something like that in free agency, which is why I'm glad the draft happens after free agency, then you definitely need to get an edge rusher with either pick 11 or pick 35 or whatever it's going to be. One of your first two picks has to be an edge rusher. But then if it's not, it depends what really falls to you. If you can get an Olu Fashanu, another Penn State guy, best tackle in the draft, Joe Alt, I think is the second best tackle in the draft, left tackle out of Notre Dame. Then they're probably going to be top 10 picks too. So it really depends on where Washington finishes. I've got a couple. Talise Fuaga is the best right tackle in the draft, Oregon State. I love him too. I think he's a top 15. So offensive line is going to be a priority for this management team, the new GM, new regime, but also edge rusher, which is why I think they do go after a big guy like Brian Burns or someone like that. It could be anybody. Once again, I got to go through all the free agents for edge rushers and stuff like that. But I think that they're going to be very aggressive. But then something to think about too, guys, and I don't want to be that guy. Tyler Guyton, I haven't watched him enough. Oklahoma games are just hit or miss for me. Honestly, it's crazy because down here everyone just watches Texas. Haven't seen enough Guyton. I've seen a few games. I did watch the Oklahoma-Texas game, but I haven't really studied him enough to be like, oh, I like him or I don't. He's on my list to get to though. But just something to think about. I don't want to be that guy, because I love Sam Howell. But you have to think about this too. The pressure is now on Sam for the rest of the season. He is on an audition for the rest of the season. I don't know what happened to my TV. He was on audition for the rest of the season because you do have a first, 2 seconds, and 2/3 now. So say some new GM, say it's Louis Riddick comes in, whoever, and they say, I don't know about that Sam guy. I'm not 100% sold on Sam yet. I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be available because he's either going to go to Arizona or Chicago. They're not going to move off that pick. That'd be stupid. I like that Drake May guy, which that would suck that he gets replaced by his best friend, the guy that replaced him once he left North Carolina. Or I like that Michael Penix guy. I think Sam Howell takes too many sacks. Yeah, it could be on the offensive line, but a lot of those sacks are on Sam Howell. And as my first season as GM, I didn't draft this guy. I know you got him for a 5th, and he's on a rookie contract, but that's not my quarterback. I didn't draft Sam Howell. That's just how these guys think, and I want y'all to know that. Once again, it's nothing for me. I'm not saying, oh, we need to trade up and get a quarterback. I think Drake May is a top 5 pick. I think after that, Michael Penix. Man, I love Michael Penix, but he's so hard to determine where he's going to go. He could go top 20, or he could do a Malik Willis, like we thought Malik Willis would go first round, and then he goes in the second or third. But I'm telling you guys, this is ammo for whoever comes in to possibly trade up. Maybe they say, hey, I know we got the 7th, 8th overall pick. We want to move into the top 5. We want to take a quarterback. Or we want to go ahead and lock down Olu Fashanu. Or, this would just blow me out the water, we want that Maserati Marv. We want Marvin Harrison Jr. Man. So this gives you ammo to trade up if you want to. Because I think we'll have a top 10 pick. I think we're pretty much locked in having a top 10 pick, which is what I'm fine with. And someone said it on here. Let's see if I can see it. I saw it earlier. I can't find it. Appreciate y'all blowing up the chat stuff, by the way, too. Love hearing from y'all. But someone said tanking does not exist. And I fully agree. Tanking does not exist. No one ever says, hey, guys, we're tanking. You can't tell a player, hey, put your buy on the line for a team that you might not be playing for next year, by the way. Like, tanking does not exist. So that's never an option for any team. But with that being said, I just don't think we're good enough to get outside the top 10 pick. Like, we're not going to be that team this year that's like, oh, we got 16 again. No, I think we're going to be like 10 or 9. It really depends what goes on around the league. But maybe the Bears start fighting for a spot now and move up a couple spots, but still they got 2 picks. Like, they're good. But I don't see us getting outside the top 10. So this new regime has everything. They could say, hey guys, we're going to trade a first next year and our first this year. And one of those thirds we got, the Chase Young third we got, we're going to move up. We're going to get that quarterback we want. Once again, don't say Josh said this, because I don't want them to do that unless like something happens to Sam. I think Sam Howell is good. I will stand on that rock. I love Sam Howell. I think he can be good. And I think the fact that you got him in the 5th and that he's so cheap, that he's on a rookie deal, it's such a great luxury to have. Like the 49ers. That's why the 49ers can afford to give Bosa the entire state of California. Because they have that luxury. The Eagles did it too with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, luckily, though, got paid, but he was very generous with how things worked. Howie Roseman knows how to do things. What's going on, Lime Doc? Appreciate you. Love y'all stopping by. But I'm just saying, y'all, don't be surprised if this regime says we want to draft our quarterback. Screw your quarterback. Sam Howell, he about to break the record for sacks. I don't want him. I want Michael Penix. God, I don't want Bo Nix, though. If we get like Bo Nix in the top 10, I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm not going to be that guy. But like I said, just be open-minded. Yes, it's good that this team's coming in and revamping everything, but that means some decisions might be made that you don't agree with. But that's where you just got to buckle up, sit back, and be like, look, I trust you. Trust the process. That's what Josh Harris said. Trust that process. We don't have an Embiid, though. Yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit longer and wrap this up. Appreciate y'all coming on. But like I said, guys, I'm excited about this because we have done the same thing for so long, and every single offseason, and I'm guilty of it, hyping this damn team up, going to camp, going to, the games and talking to people, scouting players, going to the draft, going to the Senior Bowl, hyping up everything, and damn it, we suck still. I thought we were making the playoffs this year. I thought we were genuinely going to be good this year. I thought we were going to be a team that buys this year. Well, we were set up so bad that we have to do something different. It was time to do something different. And with the new owner, new coach, GM, everyone that's going to be here, I'm just going to say new regime. There's going to be a lot of new faces next year. That it was going to happen, but we didn't know to what extent. And I think that this was needed on so many levels. Does it suck? Yeah, we're seeing players that we really like go. But if that means, to me, Josh, we have a chance at some kind of long-term stability because of this, I'm all for it. If you told me, Josh, you're going to look like the Lions in 3 years, are you willing to do that? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes in a heartbeat. You know why? Because I watched fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick go out on the field 2 seasons ago. That was our offseason answer. He had one play, excuse my French, by the way. He had one drive and broke his hip on the field. And I was at that game burning up. Sewage pipe leaked top above us against the Chargers. And I watched Taylor Heineke run out in the field. I'm like, this is our season, guys. This is what we have come to. Ron Rivera said, we're going to pay, $14 million for Ryan Fitzpatrick for 1 year. And then I'm going to go get Carson Wentz and then complain about quarterback play. It just makes sense to me. I'm so okay with an overhaul. If Sam Howell looks great the rest of the season and the new regime comes in and says, guys, I don't want Sam Howell. You know what I'm going to say? Okay. What do you want me to do about it? Go get Michael Penix. Go get Drake May. I trust you. I got to. I can't do anything different. You didn't say go get rid of Sam and go sign Ryan Tannehill. I don't think that'd be something they would do. But Ron would. Ron Rivera would. Dan Snyder would. So at the end of the day, I'm just glad that we have someone competent running this team and treating this like an actual business. And I know it's going to get ramped up. And I said it. Once again, follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, at Josh Taylor FB. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate everyone that's on here. It's been popping since I went live. Love y'all. Like I said, it's been a crazy last 2 weeks just following this. Going live on Bleacher Report. If y'all are new here, I do content for Bleacher Report pretty much full time. Do a bunch of streams and stuff after games, midweek if something happens, and then trade deadline. I've been doing streams. I have those streams up on here. They're dated now, but just go rewatch them if you want to. Just showing you, like, I've been grinding this thing out for the last 2 weeks, trying to stay plugged in. I'm in Austin, Texas now. I'm not in Virginia anymore. I'm a Virginia boy, not born. I was born in Greenville, South Carolina by accident. Long story, but I grew up in Virginia almost my whole life. As a Washington fan, move out here to Austin, but I'm still plugged into this team, y'all. But a lot of big things are going to be coming out of this. And like I said on Twitter, this offseason is going to be a big offseason. I'm not going to bring up the one topic. I'm just completely avoiding that because I said I would not even bring it up. I would never say it during the season. Something else could happen this offseason with the new owner. Once again, I'm not going to say it. I promised myself not to. But not even just personnel-wise, but there's going to be some big-time player changes. There's going to be personnel changes, maybe some, I'll just say brand changes, because I said I'm not going to say it. This is going to be a very exciting offseason, though. So appreciate y'all coming by. Hit that subscribe button. Got more things coming up. Obviously, I'm still going to talk about, previews and talk about the games and stuff like that, because I'm not giving up on the players that are on the field. I still love the players we got here. I'm still evaluating Sam Howell the rest of the season. I'm really excited to see Andre Jones, KJ Henry, Casey Toohill. Some of those guys get a chance. So, yes, we lost Chase Young. Yes, we lost Montez Sweat. But I personally am excited to see what Andre Jones looks like. I'm a big Andre Jones fan. I'm excited to see the players we do have here on the team. I'm not going to be like, oh, great, we got these bums coming out here now. I'm not going to be that guy. Unless we play really bad and they just do some stupid stuff, then, yeah, I'm going to call them out on it. But I'm rooting for these guys. I'm excited. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter. And I'll catch y'all next time. It's been fun. Like, there's always some crazy stuff going down. So I might go live again. I didn't plan on going live today, but I didn't plan on us trading those two guys. So appreciate y'all for coming by. Y'all are awesome. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.